Hi everyone, welcome to today's 30 on Thursday, where we will be talking about getting the most out of OneNote and SharePoint. If this is your first time joining us, our 30 on Thursday webinar series is a bi-weekly 30-minute SharePoint webinar series where we talk all things Microsoft SharePoint, from hot topics to best practices to recent products. Our next webinar will be delving in an introduction to Microsoft Delve. That'll be on February 26th, same time. You can register for that webinar or any other webinars on our website, sharepoint.protiviti.com/webinars. We will be doing live tweeting today during the webinar. Tweet us your questions and feedback at Protiviti SP and use the hashtag 30TOneNote. Give us your feedback, tweet us some questions, or just some general comments during the webinar. Today's session is being recorded. We will be placing this recording with the archived of all of our past sessions on our website, sharepoint.protiviti.com/archived webinars. For questions today, you can use the question window in the GoToMeeting toolbar, or you can tweet us your questions at Protiviti SP using the hashtag 30TOneNote. So today's session, the topic again is getting the most out of SharePoint and OneNote. The presenter today is Malcolm Eaton, Solution Architect with Protiviti, and I am Julia Marple and I will be moderating today's session. So let's get started. Malcolm, I'm going to make you presenter and you can take it from there.
Thank you, and I will fire up my screen here. Alrighty, let me make it a little bit larger so you can see some of the things there.
Looks great.
Perfect. So today, one of the things that we're excited about is Microsoft OneNote. It's been a tool that I have been passionate about for about 10 years now. I saw the first version released, and it really sort of changed the way I do my job. In consulting, we have to track notes, and we have to be on point all the time. And so my handwriting wasn't very good either, so that was another reason why I sort of made it into OneNote. We're going to cover a lot in a short period of time today. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to go pretty fast. If you have questions, please, as Julia said, send them to us, and we'll get to them afterwards as well. Usually we do this for about an hour. I can even go an hour and a half, so we're going to crank through some really good things. And I hope you take away, at least 3 or 4 new things if you have been using OneNote. If you haven't been using OneNote, I'm really hoping that you're going to be like, I need to use this program. So here's what we're going to cover today. And what you're going to notice right out of the gate is that I'm going to do the entire presentation in OneNote. So as we walk around, as I sort of click around some of the different parts, you'll see I'll kind of give you tips as we go through here as well. So kind of just let's get started and talk about OneNote as a whole. So one of the things we're going to see is that I'm going to have these tabs up across the top, and I'm going to have my notebooks over here on the left-hand side. I've been using OneNote for over 10 years, like I said, so I have plenty of notebooks, hundreds of thousands of tabs even, and we'll kind of go through that as well, showing you different ways to use it and different ways to organize your notes. When you think about OneNote, you really want to think about it like an old school notebook. I mean, we have section tabs across the top with the folders on the left-hand side, or I'm sorry, notebooks on the left-hand side. And one of the nice new things about OneNote 2010 and OneNote 2013 is it really moved into being able to share some of this information, and so putting the information online. And then that way what we do is there's lots of different ways to take notes. There's a lot of different notes and types of notes that you can take. I use OneNote in both my personal life and my work life, even tracking things like workouts and other things like that. So like I said, I'm a heavy user of it. And now with all the new mobile tools, it's even more encompassing of what you can do with it. I can take notes on one device and I can see them on another device as we're going through. And here's just some good examples of kind of going through the types of notes people take. We're starting to see OneNote a lot more at schools as well, and so you're having kids going in with laptops, college students going in with laptops and being able to take notes. And there's a lot of things we're going to talk about today around sharing, organizing, really start getting a sense of what OneNote can do. And by the way, we're going to provide a link to this. I'm going to share this notebook out to everybody who's attending today, and you'll get a copy of this notebook. So there's a lot of good stuff in here. We're not even going to get to it all today, but you will get a copy of it. So let's take a look quickly at sort of the environment that you have here that you're working with. I am on a desktop PC. Where OneNote really shines is on some of the touch devices. And so with Windows 8, or with Windows, the new version of Windows coming up, and Windows 8.1, and being able to really use some of the touch devices, you see here, I can change from touch to a desktop version as well. And you're going to see me do a lot of little tricks, and I'm going to make sure that I'm very clear in how I talk about them. So for example, if I want to hide my ribbon, I can just double click on any of the ribbons, and this actually works in any of the Office tools. It kind of shows me more information. As I want to hide my notebooks, I can click the little pin on the left-hand side, and I want to bring the notebooks back, I double click. And so you can see sort of just different ways to sort of navigate through your notebook. I can click F11 as a quick start, and then all of a sudden it's full screen. And so a lot of times if I'm presenting and I want to show everything that OneNote can do, I'll just bring it down to 111. And this is a good thing to see to open up Microsoft's Quick Start Guide. And so you see through here sort of the way they're organizing it as well. You have your notebooks, containers of information that are within the notebooks. You're logging in now too. So I have notebooks that are in my OneDrive. I have notebooks that are in SharePoint accounts. I have notebooks that are on file shares. So you can really switch between different accounts and different locations for where your notebooks are going to be. Let me click F11 again and bring back some of my tabs. And so as you see through here, I can easily click through the tabs like I've been doing. I have some sub-tabs. Another quick trick is I can drag my mouse to the left, and I can make it indented or outdented. I can just keep bringing it in and out just by moving my mouse to the left. I think one of the things that I see time and time again is that people don't take the time to sort of go back and organize their notes within OneNote. And so as you get a sense where you start getting a lot of notes and you start to organize them, one of the best practices that I try to follow is I try not to have more than one screen full of stuff on a page. As soon as I have another screen, I just create another tab. There's no need to be shy with the tabs. I see a lot of people put a scrolling page that will go really far deep, and you don't need to do that. You can really just keep adding tabs, and it helps to organize your data. One of the things we're going to show is kind of creating a table of contents very quickly out of the content that you have. So make sure as you get more comfortable with OneNote that you actually spend time organizing your notebook, going through, moving things around. It's very easy to move sections and to move different pieces within here. So as I double click to bring back that bar, you see here is a copy of the notebook that we're working with. And if I want to move a section, I can just take that section, move it up and down in between my notebook here on that left-hand side. And the other thing that I can do is I can just copy this section to a different section. So if I want to move or copy that section, I just click move or copy, and then it will give me a list of all my notebooks, and I can move or copy sections very easily into other sections. So do that. Organize your content. It's just like any sort of file cabinet that you would have, that sometimes you have to go in there and you have to move things around a little bit. You want to make sure that you are using it to its fullest as you work through each of the different sections. The other thing that's interesting about OneNote is when you're storing your information in a local, your hard drive, they come up as these .one files. And so what you have here is that within each of the different folders, each of the different section groups gets its own .one file. So every page that we have over here has its own. So as you're backing it up, it's just good to know how OneNote is actually storing those notebooks. Now, with shared notebooks, when you are syncing with a OneDrive account or you're syncing with SharePoint, there's a couple really important things that I sort of learned the hard way. One is make sure you are backing up your app data folders within here, but there's an easier way too. Just make sure that your backup folder is set within OneNote. And you go through here by coming into File, and then you see Options, and then you're going to see Save and Backup. So within Save and Backup there, make sure that you have the backup folder and you're backing up your notebooks. This will back up your cache notebooks as well. One of the great things about OneNote is that you can work online or offline very easily. You don't have to, you can take it on a plane with you, you can take it, and they're all going to sync all your notebooks as you're working with them in different areas or different locations. So just make sure you're saving and backing up your files, and that way, if for some reason you lose, a lot of times I'll work with different clients, and I no longer have access to their hard drive or to their network, but I still have a cache file for future reference, and so I want to make sure that I back that up and have it for future. Another nice piece is this concept of page templates, and so as you come through here, you're actually able to, I double click on home here, and then I double click on, where is my template? I'm sorry, insert. There it is, page templates. And so within page templates, you can set and define a whole different set of templates to use. So here you see this nice little background through here. And what I like about this is that you can start to come up with your own template, so something that you might use often. For example, I have to track my time every single day. So as I go in and I track my time, I have a template that pops up right away and says, okay, hey, here's what I've got for my template to do to track my time. So I'll come in here, I'll start tracking my time just as a little, keeping notes periodically, but I use a different template to do that. There's a whole huge wide variety of templates that you can come in and use. And it's nice to have them. You know, you go into a meeting and you want to just take simple meeting notes, agenda, attendees, action items. I find these to be very, very helpful, particularly as you start to create your own that work for you. And once again, very easy to come in. I want to delete a template. I want to delete a page. I can go right through there. I can delete the pages as I work with them. So it's a nice little feature to have. You can create your own custom templates. Down here, you can set the default template for a section. So I come in here and I create default templates for sections. And what you see, even in my own personal, on the left-hand side here, you'll see I keep a log of all of my days and all the days and months I work. This is for 2014, but you can actually go back to show you that I'm not really lying to you with kind of all the different things that we do here. You see, I can go back to years and years of time and work that we've done. So there's a lot of different pieces there as we go through working with logs and templates. Very, very nice feature. Another very underutilized feature within SharePoint is the concept, or I'm sorry, within OneNote, is the concept of these hyperlinks. And so as I start to have more and more pages, all this content starts to get lost. Well, something that's very easy to do is I can start to create these hyperlinks within the page. And so, for example, let's say I want to create a quick table of contents about OneNote keeping track of stuff at work. So I'll come in through here, I'll click those three sections, I'll right-click, I'll say copy link to page, and then let's add a blank page here. And let's just say I wanted to create a little table of contents. Now all I'm going to do is paste those items in there. So a little Control-V, and right there I've got a nice little table of content for what I'm looking to do. And maybe I want to add bullet points to there, so I come in, I add bullet points, and now I click on any of those table of contents, it takes me right back to where I was. Another quick little navigation trick is that I go backwards. It takes me right to the last page I did, just like you're in a browser. So same thing, OneNote at school. I click back right where I was. So right away, when you're starting to reference different content, utilize that hyperlink feature. It works at the section level here. So it works at the section group level. I can copy a link to section right there. I can do it at the page level. I can copy a link to page. I can even do it at the paragraph level. So if I want to go to change your organization over time, I can right-click here, and then I say copy link to paragraph. So you can do it at any level that you're working at to really help to organize your content, to organize your notes. So a very nice feature as you're looking through there as well. A nice quick little trick that I use all the time is the ability to do math in OneNote. I can come in here right away and I can say, okay, what is 234 times 589, right? What is that going to equal? Boom. I click equals, I hit the space bar, and boom, the number's right there for me. I do this all the time where I'll be in a meeting and somebody will say, okay, wait, how many days left? What's the bill rate? How many hours? What's the total going to be? I'll come right into OneNote, I'll type that up right away. And you can do very complex math within here as well. You see sort of some of the numbers and some of the different pieces. As I come in through here, I can go in, I can do cosines and sines, but that will give me flashbacks to my calculus, and so I just don't want to do that. Next up, one of the nice features that OneNote has had for a while is this concept of tables. But in 2013, there was a lot of great progress within how tables are being used. The other thing about OneNote is as you use it more and as you start to incorporate some of these little tips and tricks, what you can do is I can come in and I want to create a table on the fly. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, by the way, with OneNote, you can click anywhere and type anywhere. So I click, I type, I click, I type. And then if I want to start to bring some of these together, I hold down the Shift key, or I'm sorry, the Control key, and I can start to combine. My notes together as I work through them. But it's very interesting. It's very free form, and that's what it's meant to be. It's not meant to be like Word where you have to be in this section or in this piece. And so if I want to create a simple table on the fly, I can say Create Table. I hit a tab, and then it's my next cell. I hit another tab, and there's my next cell. I hit a return, and it takes me to the next line. Very easy to kind of go through and create that. You'll see some new features within 2013 where I can go in and I can start to highlight. Like all the Microsoft products, you'll see the toolbar at the top change along the fly as you go through there. So I come in, I can change my shading of my cells that we're looking at. I can make them green. I can come in through there. There's some new things now about sorting. So I can come in here and I want to sort all the cool new features. I click Sort, Sort Ascending, sorts my table for me just like that. A lot of nice features to use. Very easy as you're taking notes and you want to organize your content a little bit better. Very easy to kind of go through there and type through that. I really recommend kind of utilizing tables to help clean up your notes, clean up the content, clean how you're using it. Another one of my favorite features is tagging your notes. So within a notes page, what I can do is I can come in and I can start to type notes anywhere on the page. And so if I say this is an important note and I want to remember it, what I can do is I have a whole group of tags up here at the top. And then what I can say is I want to say, okay, this is an important piece of information, so I'll click Important. And then maybe I need to follow up on something, right? So I can click Follow Up, right? And maybe it's a tag, so I'll come in here and I'll hit To Do. Maybe I have a question that I want to ask later on. I want to remember to go back to it. So I can say, okay, this is an important question. And another trick is that I'm going to hit Control 3 because I know that that's the question. Control 1, text box, Control 2, Control 3, Control 4, just right on down the line. Once you start to learn these and you start to type them, it gets really easy to start to put in notes. Another way we go is right up here as well. Now, imagine you're in a meeting and you've taken 10 pages of notes and you want to just see what are the follow-up issues that we want to have. A great way to do that is with this Find Tags. So as I come in through here, I can click Find Tags. I can say I want to see all of the tags from a certain section, from a certain group as we're looking at it there. I'm sorry, that's how I do it through there. I can do it through any of the different areas. And what's great about that now is I can create what's a summary page. Imagine you're in a meeting and say, hey, here are all the follow-up things that we need to do within that meeting. Boom, I create my summary page, and right here is my meeting summary. And away we go. All of the information there is, I can send this out. One of the nice things you have is you can right-click, and I can click, I'm sorry, if I want to send this out to the group, then what I would do is I click File, and then I come in here and I click Send. And I can email it as a page. I can send it as an attachment, PDF, Word. There's a lot of different options that we can do right through there. All right. So tagging is really nice. Another key feature is going to be search within here. So as I come in through, let's get rid of that. One of the most powerful features in OneNote is search. And I say that because I search for things that I looked for 2, 3, 4 years ago, and search is incredibly comprehensive, right? So what I'll do is I'll come in through here and I can click something like Contoso, and it will find Contoso anywhere I've typed it, anytime over the different time spans. Now, all I want to do is I want to search on this page. So what I can do is say Find on this page. Control F is one of the shortcuts for that. Now it highlights it in the different areas. Another very important thing is that you'll notice in my business card here, it actually does OCR. So if I paste an image in, it will pull that image in, and you can kind of go through in there as well. All right, we have about 5 minutes left, and these are all the really important things that I like, that I use a lot. And so one of the other things that I do want to hit on is within OneNote, just being able to take screen grabs is another very key sort of way to work with it. So I'll bring up a browser, and then within that browser, what I can do is I can click Windows key Shift S, and then that will do a screen grab for me. So I can come in through here, and within, there's a couple ways to grab it, right? So I can insert, and I want to say a screen clipping. It clears OneNote out of the picture. I then come in, I grab the content that I want, it brings OneNote back up, and then I can paste it in, right? And it's going to tell me the URL, it'll tell me when and where I pasted it as I come through here. So there's my screen clipping, it's giving me my time and the time that I go through it. Actually, and then I can close that out. Very, very powerful feature within there, a very powerful feature that I like. We're going to run through a couple of other things really quick just to let you know that they're there. We're not going to kind of be able to demo them. You can do audio and video recording, and as I do that, if you were recording the audio, as I take notes, it can tell me at what part of the audio the notes are at. Same thing with video. You can take video notes as well. You can do searching within your audio notes. Now, if you set this up, it takes a lot of time, and it takes some indexing off your machine. But if you do end up taking a lot of audio notes, that works as well. I often use the drawing tools as I come through here, and I use a lot of different drawing tools to come in and create images or screen grabs or different pieces within there. I find that is something that works incredibly well. One other big piece that we do want to cover is that within OneNote, you can share your notebooks in SharePoint. Now, one of the great things about OneNote is that multiple people can take notes at the same time on the same page. And when you're taking notes on the page itself, you can actually see who did what. So if I come in through here, I can find things by author. So I can see who authored the pages, who wrote when, what they did. I can see recent edits of those pages. So there's a lot of different ways as you're working together and as you're sharing notebooks that you can do that. Let me close these out, give us a little bit more room here. There are default OneNote notebooks now in the team sites, but as you come through here, you can also copy your OneNote files, those .OME files, into SharePoint document libraries, and then you'll create a shared notebook as well that way. So that's coming in through there. As you're creating a new notebook, there's options to share and save to OneDrive and to different areas throughout there. That's available to you. Two other key pieces I want to try to cover is just the integration you're going to have with Microsoft Office. And so the thing with Microsoft Office is you're coming in and you're looking at Outlook. I can send emails to Outlook. There's a really great sort of task management as I come in through here and I want to create new tasks. I can create Outlook tasks, and they'll sync with my Outlook Today folder or my Outlook task folder. So if I want to see this task in Outlook, I can right-click and say Open Task in Outlook. And there it is, right there. There's my task in Outlook, and it's linking back to my OneNote file about that task. Great way to manage tasks, great way to sort of work through that. Same thing with Excel integration. There's a lot of different pieces with Excel that you can work through, adding Excel spreadsheets to pages. There's now the ability to embed an Excel spreadsheet right within OneNote. So you can work with a spreadsheet right within OneNote. I can edit. It's going to open up Excel. I'm going to work in it, and it's going to save that right back to OneNote. The last big piece is that there has been a huge progress in what Microsoft has done with the mobile versions of OneNote. I have been on an iPhone for a while, and the OneNote experience was very poor. But with the latest releases of OneNote for the iPhone, it's come a very long way. I take pictures with my phone right into my OneNote notebooks. It syncs automatically with some of the notes that I've been taking. Let me shrink this page down just a little bit here. It shrinks right away with some of the notes that I've been taking. You can lock OneNote into the notification center within your phone. So I'll take a photo here. I can see recent notes that I've taken. Very nice to come in and just take notes right out. If I'm on the road or going around, I can take notes right there. The camera plays a huge role. It will take your location and other information in there. Lists. You see that commercial where the guy has his, he's taking his shopping list and the kids are adding to it as they're going through because the notes are syncing back and forth. Very easy to sort of take your list with you as well. There's also an Android version. There is the Windows version is much better. The Surface experience, the Microsoft Surface experience is the best experience you're going to have with OneNote. And last but not least is that there's a lot of different integration now with OneNote and other applications. So you have great browser integration, being able to clip information from a website right into a browser regardless of the browser that you're using. There's great programs like OneTastic. And so one of the things you see here is I have a bunch of custom macros that I can use to perform functions that aren't built into OneNote. So I'll use a tool like OneTastic to get me even a little bit more. There's a tool called Gem from OneNote, which gives you 170 different features right in OneNote that could sort of simplify some of those processes. And then there's a program like If This, Then That. If I do something here, then send it to OneNote. If I do something here, send it to OneNote. So there's a list of keyboard shortcuts here. There's a list of references here. I know I went super, super fast today. There's just so much stuff that I love about this tool, and I think there's so many different pieces within it. I really want to kind of provide a high-level overview of what I think the tool can do, and just how passionate I am about it. I really think it's really sort of changed the way I work and the way I sort of work with clients as well. So I know with a minute or two left, I don't know, Julia, how we're looking on questions. Does anybody have any questions for us today?
We do have a couple.
Okay.
The first one is, does it require a separate server to manage OneNote services?
No, it does not. OneNote is, there's a free version of OneNote now, but no, OneNote services are all managed locally for you, and it goes back to that cache file where everything is located. So what OneNote does is it says, hey, we're going to make copies of the OneNote notebooks, put them in that cache file, and I'm just going to sync that up back and forth. Now you can have OneNote on SharePoint, but SharePoint's not doing any of the work. OneNote is doing all of the work within there as you're looking for it. So no, it does not require any server services to run it.
Okay, and is it integrated with any SharePoint tools such as apps, web parts, lists, etc.?
So it's not integrated with SharePoint tools, but what it does have is that you don't need OneNote to run, to have a shared notebook. And so one of the things that we have here is, let me show you very quickly. When you bring up OneNote within SharePoint, what you're going to see is the Microsoft web services. And so if I don't have OneNote, SharePoint will open up right then and there OneNote will open right within SharePoint, just like Word or Excel for people who don't have it. So there's nothing embedded from an app perspective. But as I come in through here and I click Notebook, it's going to open up OneNote right within the browser itself. And if you notice, I'm using Chrome. I'm not using Internet Explorer, so it's also very browser friendly as well. But there's no specific OneNote apps for SharePoint. And it's taking its time, but we'll get there in just a second.
Okay, great. And I think okay, and another question you kind of covered, is it compatible, integrated with Word and Outlook? I think you covered that. Is there anything else that you wanted to add as far as Word or Outlook capabilities?
Well, I really love the Word and Outlook capabilities. I think they're very underutilized. So if you look here within the Office integration, we didn't spend too much time on it, but you'll see sort of there's the ability to email right into certain notebooks. And so as I take some of this information, I can email it in. One thing I love, which I did miss, is inserting meeting details. So I'll walk into a meeting, and the first thing I'll do is I'll create a new page with that meeting. I'll click meeting details, and I'll say, oh, I've got to go to webinar today. Let me put that in there, and then it will drop the meeting information in there. So then, boom, I get the meeting information. I can then expand upon my meeting invite information as well. And if you notice with any table in OneNote, I can double click and hide the outlines and things as well. So that's another little tip and trick as you're coming through there. I love the Outlook task integration with the Excel, the ability to attach, embed, and create new spreadsheets. Another one we missed was Link. So as you're working with Link, I can go in and I can take meeting notes right within there and then I can share those notes, or I can have private notes. And so if I'm having a long link conversation, I go right in there, I open my meeting notes and work through it from there. And just to show you, by the way, that the OneNote did open up in in the browser. It just took a second. So. Anything else for you?
All right, I think that's all the questions we have today. Yep, I think that's it.
Cool. 30 minutes is so fast, you guys.
I know.
How much I love this, and there's so many things to do there. But please feel free to tweet me, email me. I'm on LinkedIn. I love OneNote. I'm passionate about it. So any other questions or comments, or you want more of a longer demo about some of the things and the ways I use it or the way we use it as a company, please let me know. So thank you so much today for your time.
Yeah, great. Thank you, everyone. Again, the recording will be on our website, sharepoint.protiviti.com, and we also will be sending out the references that Malcolm referenced during his presentation. Thank you, everyone, for attending today, and thank you, Malcolm, for the presentation. Everyone have a great day.
Bye-bye.